everyone. This is Sabreen, and you're watching or listening the Lemon Narrative with Sabreen podcast. I am a writer and I love meeting new people and listening to their stories, love hearing human experiences and how it evolves in the community. I usually ask my guests, what would you tell me if I am writing a feature film about you? Today, I have an amazing guest who I met through a friend, but I already was aware of and of his stories and his amazing storytelling abilities. I have RJ with me. Hi, RJ.
Hi, Sabreen. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Finally.
Same. Finally, we hear so much about each other from other amazing people, and now we're here today doing this together, and you guys get to witness it. So, RJ, why don't you introduce yourself to people?
My name is RJ Reyes. I am a corporate employee who also writes on the side. And that's what brought me to the community that Sabreen and I are in today.
Yeah. So when he says I write, he's being humble. He's amazing. You should follow him. I'm going to link his IG profile down in the description below so you guys can enjoy the things I enjoy as well. So RJ, where are you located right now?
I am in Winnipeg, Manitoba, here in Canada.
Oh,
I'm right in the middle.
I didn't realize you're in Canada.
You're in Canada. Like, I didn't want to say that till later because otherwise, what are we going to talk about, right?
We'll find something to talk
right.
about.
Like I'm in Manitoba.
Winnipeg,
Manitoba.
Manitoba. That's so
We're
cool.
Right in the
I
middle.
am right in the middle. I am in Toronto. I don't know if you're aware. Toronto, Canada, Ontario. Okay. So, wow, fellow Canadian. Hello again.
Hello again. I moved here when I was. Maybe we can get started here. Like I moved here when I was 16.
When you were 16.
I also lived in Toronto for quite a bit. When things have gotten boring here in Manitoba, I decided to see what's out there. And I had a friend in Toronto. Well, I had a few friends in Toronto, and that's when I decided to move there. Stay there for like, I guess, a year. However, things didn't work out, so I ended up moving back here.
Cool. I like that. Okay, what did you like about Toronto?
What did I like about Toronto? There's a lot of things to do. A lot more things to, there's always an event somewhere. That's what I liked about it. What else did I like about Toronto? Well, here's the other thing. I didn't really get to experience Toronto. Why? Because I was busy with work. Like on weekends, I pretty much just stay at home and rest. Sometimes I'd go out with friends and stuff, but well, yeah.
Sound like late 20 life. Sounds to me like late 20 lives going into the 30s.
There's a
right time to move to Toronto. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. But the right time is teenage years because you have nothing else to do other than attending events, right?
Right.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask my first question. Then I have so many questions regarding Philippines and coming here and stuff. But my first question usually to my guests is, I'm writing a feature film about you. This is about RJ, okay? And looking at your life from your perspective and your narrative so far, what would be your opening scene in the film? A moment in your life that's so vivid and you want people to, when they watch your film, you want to start from this scene. And it doesn't matter if it's like when you're young, you're old, it's just as an event that's important.
I thought a lot about this. I think the opening scene would be I'm staring at the shower head. Cold water coming out of the shower head and I'm about to hop in. That's the opening scene. I like to take cold showers in the morning.
Why?
You're kind of well, it's not that long. It's just I would like take a shower. I mean, I'd cold rinse. That's not a shower. It's just rinse for like a minute and a half. I like to do that because I want to, it's kind of like my practice to, be comfortable with something that's uncomfortable. If that makes sense.
Yes.
In addition to, like, I know there's a lot of like health benefits and all that, but I don't do it for that. I do it more for just trying to be more comfortable with something that's uncomfortable.
Do you do it every day, or you do it when something uncomfortable happens?
I do it every day.
You do it
It's kind
every
of
day.
like,
You prepare
yeah,
for the uncomfortable.
right. It's
Yeah.
that's the kind of, yeah, I guess training. Like it's like a mental training for me, right? Because it's, because I have a timer with me too. The moment it hits
Mm.
a minute and a half, that's when I'm like, okay, stop. I gotta get out of here. I don't do it because I
Mm.
enjoy it. I do
Okay.
it
No, I
because,
got you. I
yeah.
got that. No one enjoys that. When did you start doing that, and why?
Why?
I know the why. I know the why in terms of why you're doing it to get used to the uncomfortable. But
Oh,
I bet there is an event that triggers you
well,
deciding to do that.
Wim Hof, Mr. Iceman. You probably don't know him, but it started with maybe with Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
I like to listen to podcasts, and I'm a big
Okay.
fan of productivity and all that. And
Okay.
cold bath and cold showers became a
A
hike.
thing. Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
so I decided to do that, and I've been doing it ever since. Uh,
Mm. And what are your what are the outcomes
of
you
doing
want
it,
out of this, or you experiencing? Yeah.
um, well, I feel great in the morning. I guess it wakes me up. That's one
It
of
wakes
the
you up.
benefits. In addition to coffee, like I drink coffee too. So I would drink coffee and then take
Are
cold
you
showers too.
okay?
Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead. Go
Are
ahead.
you like a Tim Horton fan, or you do your own coffee?
I do my own. I have my own Keurig at home.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like to
That's what I
do at
thought.
home stuff. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not a
I
Starbucks
got
person
you.
either.
No, I'm not no. See, we're getting
Right,
somewhere.
right.
Okay, let's go back from your culture. From your
hmm
cold shower, you said you have a corporate job. What's
hmm
if you mind explaining what it is?
I work in the company is they make transit buses. It's in the manufacturing industry. So it's probably one of the
Mm-hmm.
largest transit bus manufacturers. If you're in
Mm-hmm.
Toronto, if you're commuting there, it's probably one of our buses. Like whatever you're riding there, it's probably one of our buses because TTC
Cool.
is one
Yeah.
of our customers.
Okay.
What I do is I would describe it as a bridge between engineering and sales. So to be more specific, what I do is I would read technical specifications for
Hmm.
on our like a request for proposal or like a contract, and I would
Hmm.
assess the electrical stuff that are in it, like if our engineering can do it or if we cannot do it, and then we would
Hmm.
price the bus based on that assessment. Am I losing you so far?
No, no,
But
I'm
that's
here.
basically it. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
a lot of times
How did when you
go ahead.
explain it, people you lose people?
Yeah,
No,
like
you.
they're more like, okay, sure. Anyways, what's the weather like today?
Um,
Um,
no, I'm not. No, I like it. I just I
okay.
would you just you when you say that you remind me of Chandler. Have you watched Friends? When no one knows what
I'm
his
familiar. I'm familiar.
okay,
Yeah.
so Chandler had like this job which I don't remember right now. She's the typical thing not to remember his job, but everyone just doesn't know. Even his friends don't know his job title. It's very funny. Katerina always mentioned this. How did you get into this job? What was the path?
What was the path? Hmm. Um, that's a good question. I guess we can go back. To, here's the story. Like when I was in the Philippines, okay, like I can like make that connection. When I was in
Mm-hmm.
the Philippines, like my parents didn't really have that much money to put me to a good school,
Mm.
and like in the Philippines, like if you don't like I was under this belief that if you don't graduate in a good school, you're like finding a job is very tough.
Mm.
But but we ended up moving here anyways after I graduated high school.
Mm.
So when I so high school came, And during high school, they had this well, no, sorry, like I'm going back. But
It's okay.
back when I was in the Philippines, I was at a point now where I will apply for um university applications. Like I'll
University.
apply for university, and one of
Mm.
the courses that I want to get into is engineering.
Mm.
However, this school that I wanted to get into has I guess there's a lot of applicants, and they have some sort of like
Mm.
an entrance exam. And I'm not academically
Mm-hmm.
smart. I'm not smart at all. So what I did was, and then I heard this rumor about electrical engineering. Turns out that not a lot of people are applying for it,
Mm-hmm.
and because not a lot of, and since not a lot of people are applying for it, I thought it would be like my best opportunity to get into that school.
Mm.
So I took
Mm.
electrical engineering. I was
Mm.
admitted and all that, but then we ended up moving here in Canada. So when I moved to Canada, I was brought back. Like I think I was grade 11 when we moved here.
Yeah, because
Um,
that's your age.
right. And in school they had an electrical engineering type of like program. Yeah, it's just a small course, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that,
Mm-hmm.
and then in high school, I mean, so as I was graduating high school, I was set on the path of taking electrical engineering. Why? Just because I'll be honest, I don't know. I just want to get into engineering, and simply because it was the path that I wanted to take back then, I thought I would just keep following that
Mm-hmm.
path. Just want to get into engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was
Mm-hmm.
applying for, you know, programs, looking at programs here in Canada, here in Manitoba to be specific,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed
Mm-hmm.
that the elect again engineering, like I have more choices here, and I
Mm-hmm.
was torn between going to mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. Mechanical engineering came to
Mm-hmm.
play. Why? Because they have a program where you can start making not making money, but you can be like a student, and like there's an on the job experience type of, it's they call it co-op,
It's
like you're
kind of
like a
co-op.
yeah,
Co-op.
it's a
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
a
say
co-op
it's a
job, right?
co-op.
How would you describe
Yeah.
co-op
Okay.
though to like everybody else? um
Mm-hmm. It's like a
um
placement during your studies, in which you get paid for.
right. I want to make money
Yeah.
right away because I was coming from a country
Yeah.
where like I wasn't making money,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, you know what, if they
Well,
have that,
Filipinos are hustlers. I know that. So.
right? So then, and since the mechanical engineering program had that, that's what I ended up taking, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept taking that path. That said,
Mm-hmm.
if
It's
you
like
were
you
going
here.
back to the answer to your question is I just followed the money.
Yeah.
That's the
That's a
path.
good.
Like,
That's a good summary. You follow the money. We all follow the money. There's no problem with
right,
that. I still follow the money, by the way. It's all good.
right,
Money is good.
and
Let's like just
even with the
crash.
right, and even with the positions that I've had too, like it's not like like I've gone from like the shop floor and then I became an office employee. Like
Hmm.
even with like my job history, it's not like I'm not doing the exact same thing that I was doing when I started my career in the manufacturing industry. I would take one position, move to
Yeah.
another.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Hmm.
that's what
Yeah,
brought
but
me
that's
here.
just evolvement in your job path,
Right.
which is like usually this is how it works in corporate, right?
Okay.
Or I'm
I
mistaken,
know.
right?
Oh, right,
You
right.
don't know. What I thought it would happen in my I didn't work in corporate, or I did, I don't know what's even the definition of corporate. I just worked in sales sometimes, and here I am in therapy, right?
Oh, I see. I
So
see.
yeah, um something came to my mind is when you are following that path, how did the writing come into the picture? Because now you're a writer or a storyteller beside your job.
Oh, beside that.
But you are a
Okay.
writer
Well,
and you have this job. This is your
right.
what we call it 9 to 5, but
It's my nine
it's
to
a good
five.
thing. Yeah,
Before,
it's a good thing.
before writing, I used to uh, create digital art using MS Paint. So I used to draw as well, but using my mouse and keyboard with MS Paint. That's what I used to do, and I thought of this, like I want to make money online, make extra money on the side, and I like to draw. And then I got into a point where I wanted to sell my artwork somewhere, right? And for me to start selling my work, well, I need to learn how to advertise them. For me to learn how to advertise them, I need to learn how to write. And that's what set me on the path. That's what introduced me to writing. And then I started writing, and it turns out that writing feels a lot easier than drawing. I spend less time writing than drawing, so then I just kept doing that. I'm probably leaving out a lot of details there, but that's where it all started. It started with painting.
Okay.
I wanted to write about my artwork, and I ended up just writing and stop creating digital art.
Okay. What do you write?
What do I write about? I write on Medium, by the way. I like to write about productivity. I like to write about my career. I like to write about human behavior. If I'm being honest with you, I don't have a niche. I don't know what my niche is.
It's not important.
Yeah, that's why I call myself.
It's not important. It's just,
what's that? Did you say it's not important?
It's not important to have a niche as long as you like to write.
Right. Okay.
In my opinion.
Because I'm at that point where I'm like, well, I don't know what it is yet. All I know is that I like to write about all these things, and if that one of the topics that I write about catches fire, then I'm gonna keep writing about that. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep writing about, I would write about, like video games, like the using video games as a metaphor for life, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I was, trying to, whatchamacallit, like I would write about one topic and whatever interests me, I guess. I don't know if that answered your question, but
okay,
I don't have a specific answer.
What triggers you writing? Is it like you see something interesting and you decide, or you see something and you think about it in a different point of view?
I'd say what's triggering me to like if I have an insight, I guess, or a realization that I like to share with other people, because a lot of times
it's like epiphany.
Yeah, like a lot of times when I'm in a conversation with any of my friends, I don't really get too deep in the conversation, and then if I get too deep, I become I'm boring to talk to. You know what I mean? Like, let's say if they all want to talk about surface level kind of conversations, let's just leave it at there. Let's not go too deep. You know what I mean? So I'm using writing as my way to, I guess, showcase to go deep. Because a lot of time I think a lot, and that's my writing is my outlet. If that makes sense.
What makes you think that when you talk, people are bored and you're boring? If you went deep, something is in there, and I'm going to find it.
What? It's a good question. It is the kind of questions that make me go, oh, I don't know. Well, people
you
space
do know,
out,
you just
right?
don't know that,
when people are spacing out, if I notice them just going, and then I'm like, okay, anyways, let's talk about something else, something more fun. That's what's triggering me. Like when people pause, it's that awkward silence sometimes. I don't know if they're being polite or if they're really listening. And that's always...
You're too considerate.
Well, I guess so. But I like
you're
to
too considerate of people's feelings. It's okay. You can consider other people feelings, but you shouldn't censor yourself because of that. Because sometimes, let's say you tell me something, you're talking to me, right? Right now, you're talking to me, your thought, the way you talk and you're telling me things would trigger some thoughts within me. So when I say or like when I look away, maybe because when you talk, people listen. You don't need eye connection is important, but you don't need them looking at you all the time. Sometimes you tell them something and they just, you know, they have this light bulb, right? And then they come back to you with something, and this is how you go deep. But what's happening is there's something there, okay, about you thinking that this person is not giving you attention, is bored with you, and there's a reason to that you need to find within yourself. I think there is I wouldn't say childhood, but I would say there is a good reason. Are you aware of
Right.
that?
I think I'm aware of it. Like sometimes when I catch myself talking too much in the person that I'm, whoever I'm speaking with, I don't know. Like if I don't even know if I'm answering it, if I'm understanding exactly what you. I know
You
there's
are.
something there,
You said
but
something really important that I shared with you. I am scared of talking too much, and I always tell people to stop me, even in my small group, right? Were you told at some point in your life that you talk too much? You bother people by the people
yeah,
surrounding you?
oh yeah,
Yep. Okay.
yeah.
Here it is.
Well, family members,
Please. Is it your
right?
parents or your
Yeah.
siblings?
Oh, like all of them. It's always RJ against everyone, right? Here's the thing
Mm.
too. I
Are
like
you the
to
youngest?
I'm the oldest, and I
You're the
like to be the
oh.
villain, and I
I
like
am
to
the
be the
oh
villain,
RJ. Oh my god. Oh my god.
and
Oh my god.
right,
No wait.
it's
I found our
yeah, yeah.
connection. You don't understand. This is so good. I'm the oldest, right? And I'm always the harsh, cold one, the villain, right?
High five.
High five.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
told Son that we had a like I had a podcast with Son, and he said I always wanted the hero story, and I said I'm always in the villain story, and he said maybe you're the hero you don't know, so maybe you're the hero that and you don't know you're the hero. How do you know you're not the
I don't
hero?
I don't know. Well, it's the people that will tell. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell
Mm,
myself that I'm the hero. It would be
no.
other people who will tell me who the hero is.
Okay, let's get an analogy from superheroes. I don't know if you like them, but people can connect to them. It's
Yeah.
always this. If you look at superheroes who were not at the beginning, who were rejecting the role, for them to become great and figuring like in the film, for them to
Hmm.
figure the problem and like fight with the villain, they have to believe first that they're capable and they're the superhero, right?
Right.
So you saying I want people to tell me first, it's not going, life is not that perfect,
No.
and you're going to meet people. Sometimes people tell you to be quiet because you're bringing realities that they don't want to face yet,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they put you in the villain like point of view, and when you
Hmm.
believe it, you're actually taking away from their experience and from your experience. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, no, you are right. It's no.
Okay, let's go back to your childhood. I love this because you're the oldest. Now I have like so much to ask. Okay, how many siblings do you have?
I have two.
Two? You're only
Yeah.
three. Are they like
There's
brothers,
only two of
sisters?
us. I have a brother and a sister,
Cool. I
and
was like that for a while too. And
like at some like I remember I like to be I like I like to play the villain because for some reason I want them to be closer. Like I get
mm,
into like my siblings and I were not really super close. I guess maybe it's an Asian thing. I
mm,
don't know.
mm.
Right.
Okay.
Like let's say if there's one common enemy, then you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. Like whoever I'm
Mm-hmm.
against, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be closer together against me,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and that's a good thing. It's my weird way of I guess bonding people together. So at home, if everyone's against me, You know what I mean? Like
I feel
rally
like
him up.
that's your ego speaking, man. That's your
Yeah,
ego
I guess so.
speaking.
I guess so.
You know why? Because this is a victim story. This is a
Well,
victim story. If you
yes.
look at it the right way, like in a different because you have your point of view, but when I listen to
Uh-huh.
it, it's like I would sacrifice myself as the villain so people can come together, and I'm okay to look at them. And I'm satisfied by them being together. But guess what? You're part of this family. You're the oldest. You deserve to be there with them.
Right. Well, you no, like I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
That's
But
valid.
fight with me. You have a point of view. Please tell it. Tell me.
Yeah, like I have like if I have a point of view, well, a lot of times, yeah, I just get questioned a lot.
Yeah.
Um, like what you said earlier, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
because I'm bringing something that makes them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, it was like, I guess it's always, I don't know if it's always been like that, but in most cases, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like
You know
to.
what I like the most about this? I'm meeting an oldest child who's a man. And he's talking to me. So this is very interesting to me because I always meet oldest siblings who are daughters, like
Mm.
who are the daughter or the sister. You're the brother, the older brother. So you know, good luck escaping me because I have so many questions.
Well, no, like ask away, because sometimes I blank out and I wish I could answer your question a
It's
little
okay.
more intelligently.
No, it's okay. You're intelligent. You're unaware of your intelligence. So let's go back to your childhood. What is
Mhm.
the age gap between you two, between the siblings?
Like 2 years between myself and my brother, and 6 years
Mm-hmm.
between myself and my sister.
Well, high
Um,
five. 2 years,
what?
5 years. This
two
is me.
years? Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Basically same. Yeah. So let's look at this. Were you when you were young, right?
Hmm.
Because the younger after you, right, is the brother. Did you play together or did you fight together? Because I know
Fight
these.
together.
Yeah,
Fight
fight.
together.
Fight together or against
Oh
each
no,
other.
sorry. Against each other. Sorry, not
Against,
together.
yeah, yeah. My
Against.
my brother beat me. He used to beat me
Oh,
when we was children, and
yeah.
I'm not as strong physically, poor me, but I had my allies, so I
Oh,
used it very well, right?
oh. My
Okay.
brother. My brother chased me with a fork one time. I pissed him off. Then like that happened, and
Yeah, but that's
yeah,
childhood.
that child, like it. And if I'm being honest, like growing up, I
Mm.
think my mission in life when I was growing up with my brother was to piss him off.
Yeah,
It gives me
yeah.
energy to piss him off.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't know
yes.
why, but it's just
Mm. I
it
still have
feels like
that.
it's the right thing to do.
I still have that. It doesn't go away. Like when I see my brother sleeping, I wake him up. He's like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Because you're asleep and I'm not." Why? Wake up.
Just cause.
Entertain me. Entertain me. I'm bored. I always do
Right.
that. He's like, "Do you have a mission in life?" Literally, all my life. My brother, I see him asleep, I wake him up. I have valid reasons, like, you need to wake up. It's 5 p.m. Why are you
you just
sleeping at this
you just
time?
make some stuff up.
I make some stuff up. Always come with a valid reason. He
That's your
always wakes up.
creativity
Poor
coming in
guy.
play.
Poor guy. Poor guy. But he's good to me right now. It's good because I pull up the oldest sister card, and
Yeah.
like, you have to take care of me. I am a woman and
Oh.
stuff like that. He
Oh.
just feels bad for him. For him, he knows. He knows. So okay, and I love that kind of relationship between siblings. I don't know if you like it. It
And it's
brings
just
energy.
normal, I guess. Yeah.
It's normal, yeah. So growing up, I guess after the sister came, was it there's the times in your life where you guys were close and friends?
What, my brother and I? Wh-
No, I mean in general, you and your siblings.
Oh,
Like, were there a time where you're close for some
I
reason,
don't
you
know. Like
plotted
until
together
today.
against your parents? Like,
Not not really. Like it was just it. No, I don't think so. Like it feels like how we are back then is how we are today
right now,
without the
today.
fighting,
Yeah.
like like
Yeah.
yeah, we were
It's a
mature
healthy
enough
relationship
not to.
to
Yeah,
fight, but you
yeah.
still annoy each other.
I
And
guess so,
are,
once in a while, but not too often.
and are you there for each other?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
if when it comes to that, then yes,
Yes.
right.
Okay.
Like
So that's a healthy relationship.
you're not gonna see us, hugging each other, no, or saying nice words to each other. You're not gonna see that. But when
Okay.
someone is hurt, or like if someone needs help,
Mhm.
then we'll be there. In my
That's
opinion,
the
it's the truth.
siblings relationship. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But this is interesting.
yeah. Hmm.
Not growing up saying things like "I love you," and then you continue to this into your adulthood willingly, right?
Hmm.
I guess I don't know, but I remember messaging my brother, and my parents are separated, right? And
Hmm.
I don't know, but I think the generation of our parents have raised us so tough. They don't hug and kiss that we don't feel like we need it, right? Then I remember moving into, I did my undergraduate not in Toronto, in a different, and I also moved to Canada when I was 21 again. So I moved to do my
Mm.
undergraduate in a different city, and I was roommating with a person, and that person, like the woman, woke up in the morning and she said, "Good morning, my dear." And I looked at her, I said, "Good morning." No one said good morning to me, my dear, ever in my life. I mean, when I meet people in the streets, they say good morning, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some
Like,
people say
nice.
hi, etc. But like, I didn't wake up in the morning with someone says good morning, dear, to me. Never in my whole life.
Oh.
And my siblings and I were just, I don't know how our morning is started, and especially me
Hmm.
and Emma, like an early riser, and both of them are not. So
Same.
but I would wake them up, right? Because
Hmm.
that's my way of revenge, and I've kept waking them up, and it's annoying, right? My
Hmm.
brother. So I messaged my brother. I
Hmm.
remember vividly. I said, "Hey, guess what happened today? When I woke up, this woman said, 'Good morning, dear,'" and he was like, "Wow." And I said, "No one said this to me before." And he's like, "I'll say it to you." I was like, "Thank you." And from that moment to this moment we're talking, he would
Oh.
message me. The first thing he says in the morning is good morning. We invented like our own thing, which is good morning. He would say good morning, my cute older sister, and I would say good morning, my handsome little brother, right? It's
That's
in
cool.
a it's cool, and it's like, I don't know, I just wanted to flip that narrative of not showing emotions. Because
Mm.
I just realized that I want emotions in my life, and not being raised around them. That does
Hmm.
not mean that I have to continue my life not having them, right? So instead of complaining about not having them, I decided to be the person showing them and to receive them, right?
Right.
So yeah, he does that, and I do that to him every morning before anything. And sometimes you forget, so I go
Hmm.
back and I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, good morning," blah blah blah, right? Um, so I don't know,
It's
and
a different.
also it
It's a different.
changed. It's a different what say.
Yeah, like with my, like, in contrast to how we are with my, like how I am to my siblings. Like, you
But
won't
can't
hear us.
don't you want to flip that? I don't know. I'm just
I
asking you. I'm
mean,
not pushing you.
well, I guess if you were to flip that, it makes me feel icky. Why? I don't know. Because
Mm.
it's not something that I'm used to, right? Like,
Isn't
I'd
that something
rather,
like your cold shower in the morning?
like, how cold people are towards me. I don't know. What do you mean? Like,
No,
oh, like
I
that
mean,
comfortable, because it's uncomfortable.
mhm.
Mm, yeah, but I'd rather take cold showers than do that. Like, I'd rather, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. No,
I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean. I just what would it hurt you to try?
it won't. But it
Mhm.
creates this room of, like, this vibe of awkwardness, I think, that hasn't been
No, it's not
present
gonna last
for,
forever. Okay, I have a
you know
question,
what I mean?
and I do know what you mean, but I
I'm
have a
stubborn as
question.
well, so
Yeah, no, I
there.
have a
Yeah, yeah.
question.
Okay, go
Is
ahead.
that rooted? Is that rooted in your masculinity as a man? It will embarrass you to show that to another man who's your brother.
Maybe, Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. Like maybe. I never. Yeah. It didn't even occur to me. Because I wouldn't do it to my
But
sister either. I wouldn't do it to my parents. Like even like with my parents, like we're not. I guess we're in that kind of
oh, your
household
sister
where,
is going.
like, even with
Yeah.
my sister,
No, but
even
I
with my
am
parents, like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar
it's
with that household. You weren't
yeah,
raised in that. It's not.
no,
We're just talking about generational trauma, and yours is not
oh,
necessarily a trauma, of course, but it's just how things work and flow into. And you are that kind of guy. If you look at it, you let things flow,
yeah,
and that's not necessarily passiveness. It's not passiveness. It's you see a path and you follow it because it's not because it's easier. It just flows into your life, right? It's like, let's
good
say
call,
there's a
yeah,
current or not a current, but not a current because you're okay being a misfit. Okay. But it's more like you go with the flow of your life because it gives you more comfort to be in that flow that you chose, because you chose engineering and then you chose drawing, right? And that drawing
Mhm.
took you somewhere else and engineering took you somewhere else, right? It's like they take
Right.
you places. It's like lighting a match, then you follow the fire. Does that make sense?
That no, that makes total sense, and I totally agree with you. I like to adapt to situations instead of,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not gonna fight something. I'm gonna like learn how to,
Adapt to it,
yeah, to adapt, yeah,
to live with it.
right, to live with it, to be okay with it, and
Mm-hmm.
to probably, like, if it's uncomfortable, then find a way to make the uncomfortable feel a little more comfortable. But if you can't hack it, then do something to change it. Kind of like with
Mm-hmm.
jobs, right? Like if you really hate your job, then quit.
Find another job.
Find another
You
job.
find another job
I mean,
first, then you could.
well, that's
You
not what
would
I did
quit.
though. I just quit. I'm like, screw this. I'm done. And then it's funny
Okay.
because now
Okay.
I'm back to that same company.
Oh, do tell me the story.
Well,
Let's
I was a
talk about
product,
this story.
right? Like I was a product designer for this
Mm,
company back then. And first year, it was good. Like it was like, creating drawings, engineering
mm,
drawings, 3D modeling, and all that for
mm,
manufacturing.
mm,
First year, it was okay and
mm,
learning a lot. Second year, still good. Third year in, it's more like, okay, it's starting to get boring. I'm comfortable, pays good, but it's starting to get boring. The fourth year, though,
mm,
that's when I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can keep doing this because it starts to feel like the routine just it repeat like the day repeats itself. There's nothing exciting in there, and so that's when I decided to, and maybe I was depressed too at that time.
mm,
um yeah, because I was at a point in life where a lot of my friends are all paired up. I wasn't paired up. I was like single for the longest time. So I'm
mm,
like, you know what, and I've gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, you know what, I think I was curious, what's it like to start all over.
mm.
That's
You
what
think?
prompted me to move to Toronto. When I moved to
Mm,
Toronto, man, I just like left everything. It was a ballsy
mm,
move. Everyone at work were like, "Well,
mm,
do you have a job lined up out there?"
mm,
No. So then why the hell? Like I had some money saved up. I lived with my
mm,
parents, by the way.
mm,
That's another side of the story. So I
mm,
had some money saved up. So I was ballsy to, like, I had enough money to explore
mm,
or to try it out.
mm, mm,
And that's what prompted me to Toronto. A
mhm,
month later, I found a job,
mhm,
which was pretty cool. Then a month after that, 6 months after, I left again. Decided it wasn't for me because it wasn't working in the I wasn't working in the office. I was working in the shop.
Okay, makes
Um,
sense.
but anyways, yeah, like I can't remember what the original question was. I just went on and followed the trail, Sabrine.
Again,
And to,
again.
again, like
It's
that match,
okay.
like you gotta
I
stop that
lit your
match.
matches,
Yeah,
eh?
well, yeah, yeah. I like we can
Okay.
go where like
Can go
there's
forever.
no.
And the question was like, tell me the story when you quit your job, and you just
Oh,
told it, and then you went back to the original job or
yeah,
where
I
you
went
are,
back
were.
to. I,
Yeah.
I went back to the same company. Yeah.
Okay. So, are you someone? Do you find yourself getting bored easily with what you're doing?
I wouldn't say easily. I guess when it gets to a point where it becomes too easy, then that
Makes
also
you bored.
tells me that right.
You need to
Then I'm
evolve.
not. Then if I'm not probably not learning, or I'm not pushing hard enough.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Right, and so yeah, I guess that's the answer to your question.
To my question.
Next.
Okay. Next. I love this. Yeah, I told you you're a great storyteller. You just need like the match lit
Well,
for you,
right, like
or
you know what? I
sometimes you
could have
lit
kept
yourself.
going. It's just that I'm
Yeah,
like, I guess I'm
you
catching
stop
myself
again.
again.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
catch yourself again, but you shouldn't catch yourself, because sometimes when you keep talking, amazing things comes, right?
I guess so.
And that's why I talk about selfishness. Sometimes you need to be selfish to reach a point, right? And you can fix your selfishness later if it's not that hurtful to like people around you, or like it wouldn't hurt me to listen to you talk for 40 minutes. Seriously,
Okay.
it wouldn't, right? So I don't want you to worry about that. Okay. So I'm going to recollect your story in my head. So we're starting with the shower heads in the morning, and I feel like this shower head could be like decision making process, or not decision making. Sorry, I feel the shower could be connected to the uncomfortable situations in your life that you decide to adapt to, because you said, let's say I don't like something, I'm going to adapt to because I chose this road or this path, right? In terms of your job, or we still didn't tackle your relationships, right? We just talked about parents, and we didn't talk about parents, just siblings, right? So let's say your father, yeah, your parents did something and it's uncomfortable. Like you said, you were living with your parents, for example, and something happened. You're just going to that cold shower and you tell yourself, I got the shower, cold shower. I went through this uncomfortable one. I can go through that uncomfortable thing as well. That makes sense. And then we see you doing that.
That makes sense. Like, but when it comes to like, are we gonna tackle the parents stuff now,
Yeah.
or
Go ahead.
Like when it comes to like my parents, they're like they weren't abusive by any, you know, but they're the kind of, what are they? Yeah, like my parents are like, they let me do whatever the heck I want to do. You know what I mean? Like if they're
This
not,
usually happens
it's
to
not
the
like
little
they're cold. They're just too busy, working and making sure that there's food on the table. I mean,
okay.
that's the kind of they're the kind of parents, and because they didn't, I don't know. Yeah, that's how they are. Like they just let me do whatever. I like to feed them.
It's freedom is good, but did you feel neglected? Did you sometimes want them to ask you what you're doing and say no to you?
No. Oh,
No?
that's. Oh, hold on. Say that. Can you ask me that question again?
I said, did you feel neglected? Did you want them sometimes to ask you what is happening, where you're going, what you're doing? Don't do that.
Good question. No.
No.
Like I never craved that from them.
This is very interesting.
Wow.
This is a very interesting question. Like you have an interesting character.
Yeah, well,
I have to say.
When I graduated college, I didn't go to the ceremony. I just took the diploma. And then when my dad found out, he's like, "Well, did you like I did. Like, aren't we gonna like? Didn't you like go to the ceremony? Like, wow, there's the point of going to the ceremony. It's nothing. Like, it's not. When I graduated college, it's more of I got a diploma. It's not like it's not like I got my PN, or it's not. I didn't go to university, by the way. So
yeah,
I didn't think it was a big deal. And so if it's not a big deal,
I understand.
then let's not make it a big deal. Okay.
Probably it was a big deal for them because they took you away from your country.
Probably.
And you made it to Canada, went to university. It doesn't matter if it's a college or university, it was a Canadian education, and they wanted to see you walk that stage. But here's the thing, they did not communicate that. So it's not on you.
Right.
So if I always tell my friends that, don't blame me for the things you didn't communicate to me, because I'm not what's the word, like, there's a speed camera. It's like a radar. It clicks when you speed. How would I know? I'm not that machine. I'm a person. I live my life. I have my feelings, etc. If you have any feelings or you need something from me, you need to tell me, because
I'm not gonna guess it for you. Right.
I'm not gonna guess it. I will try my best to accommodate your feelings and needs and everything, and we're close. And sometimes you have relationship with people in your life where you understand what they need and you provide for them. But it doesn't work like that all the time. To reach that point, you need to talk first, right? So if you're not talking first, you're not communicating. First is not, you're not gonna know what's happening. I have a question. So is it a common thing in the Philippines culture to have that setup of family, parents who are busy and no communication, or is it? Do you know the background to this?
I think it's pretty common. I mean,
Okay.
like even like it's a different, like you said, it's a different generation, right? When my parents are growing up, like I don't know how they were with their parents too. It's probably the same thing, and they were probably just like whatever, they were probably just doing whatever their parents
did.
Yeah, to them.
And it's just going.
Yeah, and I didn't have any like cravings.
Yeah, no.
Like there is something that I didn't want to get into.
But let's get into.
It's my grandma.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to, I'm just gonna tell you right now, grandma topics makes me emotional. Everything that you and I just talked about, I'm gonna root it back to my grandma. Always trying to be right and all that. It was all because of her. Like if I craved something, it would have been from her.
Yeah.
Not being with her, it's more like like, oh, I gotta prove something to you, old lady. But I love my grandma, don't get me wrong.
No, I got you. Is it proving to you, or is it making you proud because you loved me?
Can you like explain that a little?
Okay, sure. So I'll tell you this by story. I was raised by my grandmother. Let's hope I don't cry, because I just cried about that. So I was raised by my grandmother, and everything in my life, the way I eat food, the way I do everything in life, my relation, everything, and I did not realize how she affected my life by just loving me. She didn't do anything. She loved me. She fed me. She was there. She loved me for who I am. She didn't care about my grades. She didn't care about how I look. She didn't care. She just like, she would say the things she used to say to me when I remember now, and I'm like, wow, I didn't appreciate her enough. And I've lost her a couple of years ago. So when I was sick, I don't know if you're aware of that, I had a kidney transplant.
I listened to that episode.
Okay, great. So I was thankful that she didn't know, because I didn't want her to know how like much pain I was when when I succeed in life. I just wish that she sees it. Does that make sense? I wish that she knows that I'm okay. That makes total sense,
because that's the I'm gonna be emotional now too.
Go for it.
Because that's what I want.
For her to see you right now. Is she with us?
No, she left. Oh, I don't know. What do you mean? She's like, she passed away too.
She's passed away.
Yeah, but I'm
sorry.
That's what I'm. That's the here's the thing. Like my grandma and I had a rough stage in life where she and I would like butt heads. Like it's probably the opposite of you. Like I'm always trying to prove myself to her. Like there's that.
It's not the opposite. Right? I used to fight with her too. It's okay.
Yeah, like she called me a demon one time. Like I have a lot. I love my grandma. It's just that. Yeah, I like. There's a lot of fights that we've had, and yeah, no, it's more like now that she's. Before she passed away, like she's like, maybe that's what I'm craving for, like her acknowledgement that, hey, you made it, you made it, buddy. but but my grandma sucks at communicating. Maybe she said it in her own way, but I just didn't.
Mm.
But now that she's gone, I feel like, oh shit, like this person that I'm craving her, like I was craving for approval. Maybe even when like maybe I don't even need her approval, right? Like it's all happening in my head.
Mm. Mm.
And she's more of like my the audience that I want to see my performance. And what
Mm.
makes me sad is that I'm not even done performing. Like you haven't even seen, yet the
Everything.
last scene yet.
Mm.
She's 93. Like
Mm.
she's 97. She's old. But that's what I'm craving for. And right now I've reached a point in life where I mean I don't need to really need to prove anything. So that's why when people say, yeah, maybe you're good enough, but am I really good enough?
She didn't
I don't
approve it
know.
yet.
Right. Like I
I
haven't,
think.
and we've had this
I think you're.
conversation with the group too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I feel bad because everyone's like, hey, well, maybe it's an ego thing. Or maybe, yeah, it's true. But it's
No,
that
no. Here's what
audience
I
that I
see.
lost.
Here's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that my vision is much more important than a small group. It's just what I felt from having a grandmother. I did not like my grandmother growing up, right? I just
Mm-hmm.
felt everything she's doing is silly. I wanted to have my mother. I didn't want to have my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because everyone around me had mothers and fathers. They didn't have grandmothers, right? I mean, they had grandmothers, but they were not the only person in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I used to fight with her and everything. And I think what's happening with you is the audience you had before were because your grandmother noticed you. So, because grandmothers already not just made it in life, but they have this wisdom, right? And she realized that you're not going to go anywhere without her challenging you. And she challenged you. She challenged you big time. And now you won the challenge, but she's not there
Yes. No,
to see
thank you
the
for.
winning. But you know what? She knew that you will win. She did this on purpose. She knew because she saw the things you didn't see, right? She saw the things you didn't see within yourself. And it doesn't matter how old were you. She did, and she loved you. That's why she did what she did. She challenged you to see where to for you to have this fire within you to win the challenge. It is it
That's a good way of spinning it because obviously, like
you said is spinning it
I still see things through the
differently.
eye of like my 8-year-old self,
It's
who's
okay. It's fine. You can see it whatever the way you want to
right. But
see it. It's your narrative.
that's a good way of spinning it. Like it's a story that I like to believe in it. Now that you mentioned it, like I'm starting to see it from her point of view. Right? It could be that, or it could be off. Like again, like I wish I could ask her,
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing: when she passed away, I had a chance to talk to some of my other relatives, about
Mm.
her, because I've always like felt jealous. Like like I feel like when it comes to other people, my grandma would pay attention to them,
Mm.
but in reality, that wasn't the case. Like how at first I thought I was the one, like you said, she likes to challenge me. I
Mm.
hated her because she keeps calling me out on my own BS.
Mm.
And I'm like, holy crap, how does she know ahead of time before, like, wait a minute. And that's
Mm.
why I would like to, now you, like, now you brought up something else about myself. I like the idea of outsmarting people,
Mm.
right? I like to work behind the scenes because that's how
Mm.
I think I'm gonna, uh, I want to beat her in her own game. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm.
And that's always been a challenge.
Mm.
And yeah, like anyways, talking to like other relatives, uh, I guess I realized that how she was towards me, she was the same to them, kind of,
Mm.
and that was a shock. And I'm like,
Did you Did they tell you that she talked about you proudly? Did you ask
They
anyone?
did. They did. In one ear, out in the other. Because I
But
want to hear it from her.
but guess what? I knew this without telling me about them telling you this.
Why?
Because I
Well,
knew
how?
she was proud of you.
How?
Because
I mean,
she was proud of you. And it
it's
doesn't matter what you did, what you didn't do. It doesn't matter if you outsmarted her. It doesn't matter if you won the challenge. She was proud of you from day one. She was your audience, your supporter, your fan from day one. From day one, she is that person to the day she left. It's just, we didn't see it. Not just you, me, right? So
yeah.
I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry
Right. Like, yeah, like
one
this
day.
is making me tear up.
It's okay. We
And
can tear up. It's just
mhm,
that like right now I just regret not telling her that you know, I just want her to know that I
well,
appreciated her.
well,
Yeah.
I wanted to tell her that. I told her that
Yeah.
you know who I am today.
Mm. It's because of her. It's just
But the thing is,
yeah.
when she responded, she's like, yeah, whatever. She
This
didn't
is
say
tough
it that
love.
way. She didn't say it that way, but it's more like, okay. Anyways,
It was through the phone, right?
it was
Did
through the
you
phone. Yeah,
you
it
didn't
was.
see her expressions, so
Well, yeah. This happened during COVID, so I didn't
yeah.
really. Yeah.
It's tough love. It's what she knows.
Right.
You know
Exactly. It's tough love.
it's what she knows what to give the best, and she gave it to you, and this what um what's important. She gave you her best, and having a person to give you your best, and then you realize when you grow up, it's
Well,
just so.
it would have been nice though if we knew that growing up
I
and not
agree.
waiting till the
I
you get to that
agree.
stage where, like I told you, I'm I'm not done performing yet, and you already left early. Like, son of like, you haven't even seen it yet. I mean, come on. Like,
It was not her choice to leave early. You never
like
know,
I
but
know that's true,
yeah,
and
but
that's what's painful,
it is
right?
painful. But I just consider myself lucky to have her at some point to give me that knowledge, that love, that caring. You know,
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Um,
It's the challenge, right? Like, I guess
yeah,
no. Thanks for framing it that way, because I never thought of it that way.
honoring son every time. Yeah, yeah.
uh no, like, I'm glad we had this conversation.
I just want to say thank you, Grandma, again. And
Yeah.
if you guys have any grandmothers alive, go hug them and appreciate
Mm-hmm.
them. Okay, let's move on from this crying
Right.
topic. I don't know a lot of things about you, but my question, you were talking about parents, relationship, and grandmothers. I don't know if you're a father yet.
I have two kids. Yeah.
You have two
I,
kids. Okay. How is the relationship? Did you move on? Um, did you change what you
um,
got?
change in what? Like, let's be in change
Let's
in
talk about
like
showing
upbringing. Like,
love.
yeah.
You're up,
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
showing love.
Like, I
Yeah.
guess like I'm probably the opposite of my dad. Like,
Yeah.
instead of, like, I hug my kids and all that, things that
Mm.
he didn't do, and I don't want him to start doing it now, or I don't want him
Mm.
having regrets in his life or for not
Mm.
doing it, because it's like I
Mm.
don't really blame my parents for anything. Like, they're just trying
Okay.
to be
Yeah. It's not
the
about
best at what they
blaming.
know. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. They
and I
just did their
totally get
best.
that. And that's the thing. Now that you like, when it comes to my parents, I feel like I was always enough for them. Like, I don't
Mm.
need to be someone to be
Mm.
loved.
Mm. Yeah. That's good.
And which is why, like, that grandma thing came up,
Mm.
because I can kind of tell, like, when I'm telling you this story, something is not adding up.
Mm.
and that's always the missing piece. And I just didn't want to tear up in your pot because that's why I didn't want to bring her up earlier. But it ended up coming out
It's
anyways.
okay.
Um,
No, good thing you
but yeah,
did.
that's the I think that's where everything is rooting from. Because
Maybe your grandmother saw that they're not challenging you enough, and she wanted to bring that peace into your life.
which
Because
maybe
because you say I was always enough for my parents, right? For who you
yeah
are, etc. Maybe
yeah
she
saw that
saw
and
that and she's like, that kid needs to be challenged to go places, so I'm just gonna
yeah
challenge him.
well
Right?
yeah like yeah like a lot of like stories of like one stories that I have with her would be like I would she like I typically would well at home you're required to do like at least do some cleaning before going to school. But every
Yeah.
time I do that, like she like let's say I would sweep the floor or mop the floor or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
she looks at it and she's like, "What the hell is this? It's dirty." And then she ends up doing it again, and I'm like, "Well, if it's not good enough for you, then might as well do it. Why do I even have to do it if you're gonna redo it anyways?"
You have to
Like
you
it's
have to do
one of
it
those,
first.
right? It's a lot. There's a lot of those. Like even
Yeah.
with her, like with religion and stuff. Like
You didn't do
I'm a
enough.
Catholic. Like I'm a Catholic by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time because I was introduced. We're going through a different topic now. Like
It's
I'm a
okay.
Roman
Go
Catholic,
for it.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and you know, and then I've got, and then in school, like I have friends who are also Christians, but like a different religion, so
Mm.
different set of beliefs, and
Yeah.
like they would like argue, like not argue with me, but we would have like debates about the Bible and all that, and it
Yes.
turns out that
Yes.
they're all right.
Mm-hmm.
So then that started, like I started to question my own belief. So I started like there's this one television show back in the Philippines where it talks
Mm-hmm.
about the Bible and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and it pointed the fact well it pointed some things about the Catholics that aren't like they're probably doing things that doesn't follow the Bible and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I used that against her. Not against her, but like I would ask her questions about like
Questions and stuff. Yeah.
like rosary isn't that same as chanting? You're just chanting, like
Mm-hmm.
you probably don't even understand what you're talking about when you
Mm-hmm.
pray the rosary. Yeah, like I remember her saying that to her and she called me a demon, and it there's a lot of like those are the memories that I have with her that I
Mm-hmm.
had fun doing it.
Mm.
Maybe it was for her too, I don't know.
It was fun
But
for her too, because
what's that?
it was fun for her too because she's seeing you using your brain to challenge a
Yeah,
set belief, which eventually in her head, in my opinion, would take you to the same path she did.
she's pretty
Maybe she was.
religious too. Yeah.
Are you religious now?
No.
Not yet. Okay. I said not yet. Wow. I am
No,
so wow. Okay. So maybe she sees herself in you.
that's a good yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good one. Because that's the
That's
exact same thing that went into my head when I was a kid. Because she keeps calling me out on my like let's say,
mm,
I'm gonna talk about like tell my dad, like I got a school project, I gotta go
yeah.
to this place, meet with friends,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Then my grandma would like BS, like you're going there not for the school project, you're going there because of your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, how the heck does she know about that? And
Just
then
live the
it occurred to
longer
me,
life, man.
right?
Yes.
It occurred to me that like, oh, I know why, because you've done this before.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm like, and that's
You.
when it became like fun for like
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
outsmart her. Like to
Yeah.
outsmart her is like is I don't know. It's a
It's
goal
like
for
it's
me.
when you were talking about pissing off your siblings. Something
Yeah,
it's
maybe
related.
it
Oh, like also, I want to say something there. What was it? I totally forgot when you were talking
it's fine.
about.
Like okay, like maybe this will refresh your memory. Like I like to get into debates.
Yeah,
Like I like to
you
always
get her
prove that
to.
I'm right and
Yeah, but
like
she enjoyed them. She
oh
enjoyed them
maybe.
the same way, and she saw maybe herself in you, right?
Hmm.
And that was what's happening. That was a great relationship, man. And she just,
Oh, now when you were in it, like
maybe she
when
was maybe she was redirecting you from the mistakes she made too,
oh
when she
maybe
calls you out,
like even
right?
like with school times, just like why are you being
Yeah.
so picky with school? You don't like it's not like you guys have any money. Like stop.
It's not like you're
Like
gonna
yeah,
do it. Yeah.
who do you think you like? Those are the things. Maybe that's not
Mm.
what she's communicating, but that's how I'm
Mm.
hearing it. Like who the heck do you
Yeah.
think you are? Like
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
like just be happy with what you already have and not aim too
Yeah.
high.
Maybe she
May-
thought you're wasting your time, and she wanted like
Maybe
to basically redirect your path when she challenged you about something. She sees that you're making the same mistake she did, so she wants to like give you some shortcuts to life,
shortcuts.
but in a way, because you're not someone who follows, you're not someone who's going to follow what she tells you straight away. So
No.
she do it the way that she knows that you're going to follow it. She lived a longer life. She lived
Hmm.
everything you lived, right? So she
Right.
sees you for who you are. She sees, that's what I, at least that's what I think,
Hmm. Well, because
right?
the relationship changed too when we moved to Canada. So I've had 16 years of that, but
Hmm.
after moving to Canada, well, things changed.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
she wasn't as rough as before because I'm no longer that kid.
Yeah.
And since then, it was like I tried to. Well, since then, since that relationship changed, like I didn't like I've always wanted to confront like why were you so mean to me when I was a kid,
Mm.
but it never came up. Like I didn't
Mm.
want her to feel guilt or anything like that too because like I said I wouldn't be here if she like I wouldn't have that fire
Mm.
to like to go
Mm.
for things
She
without
was your
that treatment.
she was the person who lit the match for you. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's
Mhm.
the word. Yeah,
Yeah.
she lit it, and now that she's gone, and I'm like that's why and that's where all the imposter syndrome and all that stuff are coming from because again
I
no more
just
there's no
remember
more
what I
apartments.
wanted to say.
Okay, perfect.
Is that you have audience. It's your kids. You don't know that. But I think you understand your grandmother more as your kids grow up and you see yourself in them. And you're gonna quote what of the things that she did. Not the same way because you're aware of
Hmm.
what your feelings, right? But you're just going to adapt some in a way that
Well,
um
challenge them.
challenge them, but is also good for their age and time and where they are. Does that make sense? Because now
That makes sense. That makes
as
sense.
you grow up, you're the father,
Hmm.
and you just I think you earn, not earn, but you get some abilities being a father, and you gain some wisdom, right? And there's the
Hmm.
love with the fact that you want to protect them. Like there's so many factors plays into this, and I think as your kids grow up, you're going to understand your grandmother more and more and more, and you will understand that what happened is will keep giving. It's going to keep giving. I don't know if
Hmm.
you I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like it's going to keep giving.
Whatever. Okay, hold on. Like you lost me with like keep giving.
Whatever she did before,
Ah, okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The challenge and everything is
Like it
going to
always
keep giving.
it's
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
always trace it back there. Oh,
You
that's
would
where
trace
I'm.
it back there, and then it challenged you to be where you are now, but it's going to also help you with your children, and you will understand her more as you raise your children. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It's no, that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
Did I did I like
Well, like yeah, you unwrapped something in my head. Like
Mm,
I'm gonna re-listen to this, and you
yeah.
know,
And you tell me what you think after you listen. Okay.
hmm
So, what are the like? I feel like I know the characters in your movie: your grandmother, your parents, your siblings,
hmm
and then you, um, coming from. Like, I feel like there's the childhood in Philippines is really important with your grandmother and the
hmm
challenging, and you trying to get into university, and
hmm
then coming here to Canada, right? And
hmm
everything you went through here, And I feel like the shower head is going to keep coming, right? Every time you are in
Mhm.
in an uncomfortable situation, just see you there under the shower head looking at it or something, right? And then we
Yeah,
go to the
just feeling
situation,
it. Yeah.
just feeling the
Yeah.
it also goes well with the fact that it's very cold in Canada.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I think I also see your grandmother as a common scene coming back and forth with what she tells you, right? Maybe her voice
Hmm.
would be mixed with the shower head
Maybe.
water,
Yeah.
right?
Like I'm coming
Maybe.
after you, little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Also, like, what else would I want to say? Yeah. So, what do you think is a theme, a common theme in this film? Your life.
That's a good question. I don't know. Like a common theme would be like I just don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Mm.
Remember how I said something about like I'm the type of guy who doesn't plan really
Mm.
ahead of time. Like I'll plan something out, but I'll plan like as far I guess in 2 weeks time I can plan something out. But if we're talking about when people ask you where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, and all that. I mean I don't
Mm.
know.
Or
I don't
just
even
follow
know
the
what.
plan.
Yeah, like I just yeah, like I have some plans in the like I see there are some plans, but it's not fixed because whatever plans that I have, the
Mm.
the farther it is, the
Mm.
more unrealistic it's going to be. Because whatever how I'm seeing the future today is different from
Mm.
how I'm going to see the future a year from today, a year from now.
Because your knowledge is different then,
Exactly. So
right? So
then,
you
so
can't
then,
decide
yeah,
then.
right. So
Yeah.
then that's when you
No, I
repivot.
got you.
Yeah, and
I
so
got you.
if you're gonna keep pivoting, then maybe it's pointless to live in the future when live in the
Maybe follow the plan, but be spontaneous.
right. It's that balance,
It's the
right?
balance between the plan and
Hmm.
spontaneous events and knowledge and
It's kind of like with investing, right? Like you're not gonna spend all your money
mm,
today because you think
yeah.
you're gonna die tomorrow. Like you still have to save
Mm,
because you need money for
yeah.
tomorrow.
And
Yeah,
this is
like
what kind of like where the theme is going. Just follow the plan, but know that tomorrow you'll have a different knowledge, and it's okay to change the plan,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah, I
Because the
like this.
plan will keep changing.
The plan. Okay, maybe the theme
I,
is the plan will keep changing.
mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
why like my what my partner is she gets ticked off if I do things last minute,
Mm,
and she's the opposite, which is why I think we're a good pair because she
mm,
plans ahead of time. I don't like I
mm.
react on what's happening today.
You react. Yeah, that's a good combination, really.
Right. So then I
Yeah.
rely on her for future plans, and
Mm-hmm.
then to make sure
Yeah.
that plan happens, I have to focus on today, and you know what I
Yes,
mean.
which is good. Which is good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
so what's something I unlocked in your brain you haven't thought about it?
Well, earlier, like the challenge. That's what
Yeah,
you like. She knew,
unlocked.
she's like when you said she saw something in my grandma saw something in me that I didn't know, and that's
Okay,
why she
challenged you.
unlocked. She challenged me. So yeah, that's the unlock. Because that never occurred to me.
It never occurred to you that she was challenging you to unlock your
No,
potential.
right. Because when it comes to like potential, like I always dedicate like again, I'm this way because she made me this way. Like I'm like to
Mm,
her, I felt like I'm never good enough.
mm,
So guess what? Like I want to be good enough.
mm.
Um,
Okay.
but no one like this is the thing. Like I want to be good enough. However, whoever the people around me will tell me good things about like maybe I'm good enough. But however, a lot of times it doesn't um, goes in
You
one
don't
ear out in
believe
the
it.
other.
You
Right.
don't believe it.
But there are
Do you
also
believe
times
it
when I'm like,
now?
well, there are times when it was Katerina who pointed this out. Like, have you done a job or something? that you're proud of, regardless of what people say?
Mm.
I'm like, yes.
Mm.
But that comes out. I'm gonna tie this to the challenge. But I would only feel that
Mm-hmm.
when whatever I've done is super challenging. If it's easy, then goes in one ear out in the other. But if it's challenging, like I struggled to get there, then I might believe you. But if I didn't struggle, then whatever I accomplished isn't really worth isn't worth
This
anything.
unlocks something. Is this why you leave jobs when they're not challenging anymore?
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
But you don't
There's
have
no
to do
more
this
growth.
anymore.
Like, and if
But you don't have to grow all the time. Sometimes the job does what it has to do, and you need to grow somewhere else, not at the job. Right? Like
right,
right now, I don't know if your job is very challenging, but you're growing into social media and storytelling, right?
right. That's the transition, I guess. But
The transition you're making, but this transition is going to take a lot of time. So hopefully it doesn't, but usually it does.
it
So
does, and
you might stay in that job for so long, right?
right, and that's what makes it challenging.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You spin it
You
that
know what I
way.
mean? Like,
I see what you
like
did there. I do.
staying in the
I
job
do. It's
without the
challenging. I
job. If
know.
I'm doing this full time, then
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably
No,
easier.
I
But
relate. I relate to this. Because you have this mindset that you always have to have a challenge.
mhm,
Don't you?
yes, I do. It needs to
You
be
do.
challenging. It's not worth it, right?
But it's not true. Maybe
But it's
life
not
is
true.
easier. It's not true.
It's just what I'm accustomed. It's what I'm accustomed to, right?
It's what you were accustomed to. It's like, I don't know if you studied psychology before, but
I don't, but I like reading about them.
yeah. So this is actually a learned behavior.
A learned behavior.
Yeah. A learned behavior. It's not a behavior you had. It's a behavior that was rooted within you at some point in your life that became your behavior.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
That makes
That
sense.
means you can unlearn it if you want to. If you want to, you have
That's
the
the
option.
thing. There's the fear that if you start unlearning it, then maybe the growth will. You and I are probably gonna end up talking about. I mean, we're gonna talk
Listen,
longer because.
I know it's fine. Listen, I read something 2 days ago because I love
Mhm,
fall. What it says? It says, imagine the trees does not shed the leaves during fall.
mhm,
How are they going to bloom in summer? There's no places for it,
right.
right? They have to shed the leaves, even though they look beautiful, even though they stayed with it, and a lot of things happen for those leaves to become green and colors, and then go away, right? And then
Mhm,
fall. Right? That's why it's called fall. So because the leaves fell,
mhm.
there was new leaves in blooming and flowers. Okay, so was the leaves bad thing? Because it's a cycle. There are always new leaves. Once, if you are someone who has a growth mindset, right?
Mhm.
You're not gonna stop growing because you shed some leaves. And those leaves are the learned behaviors that are not serving you anymore. Let's say, God forbid, those cold shower did something to your health. Are you gonna risk your health and take them still every morning? No.
No,
You're not going to. You're not going to, right? So that
you're
challenge
gonna
you
find a
have
new set
within
of
you,
leaves.
you're going to find a new set of leaves. And you are the person who does that. You do it naturally. You're just not aware of yourself, right? So that
Mhm.
rooted challenge within you, which is a learned behavior, if you unlearn it, something else is going to come in the process of unlearning that will become the new learned behavior that is serving its purpose.
A replacement of, yeah, like the old programming. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an update.
An update. Yeah.
It's like an update, right?
Mhm.
You don't want to update, I don't know, your phone or whatever.
Well,
You don't
updates are
want to
good.
update your life?
No, no, I like with how you framed it. Then yes, of course, I want the update. I want a new set of beliefs that are more sustainable. Because the old way of doing things that would like whatever that fire that lit the match, um, that needs to be updated. Maybe it's time to use a
One
different kind
match
of lighter.
cannot be lit forever.
We'll use a
Yes.
lighter, right?
Or use the lighters. I don't know. A fire
Right.
is going to start. The
Right.
start of the fire, how it started, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how. Is it a match? Is it a lighter? Is it two stones together? Who cares?
Right.
Did you bury someone else's match? Who knows? Right?
Right.
So, and that's the learned behavior. And that's the learned
Mm-hmm.
behavior. And that's okay to let it go.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree. I agree. Yeah,
Oh, thank God.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Same. Same, man.
Um, I
Same.
I kind of knew though that you like to get deep into like, cause I like to get deep into these kind of conversations,
Yeah.
and it's rare for myself to talk to someone who goes to that level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I
But
mean.
we made it.
We made it, but
We
we
made it.
haven't. Well,
But we're closing 2 hours. So
yeah.
I'm just going,
No.
I am going to conclude this.
Mhm.
Did you have a takeaway today from this conversation?
Yes,
What was it?
it's that perspective that you given me towards my grandma, how she's challenged, the rooted challenge. It was
The rooted
I didn't.
challenge.
It didn't even
Mm-hmm.
occur to me that way what that she probably saw herself in me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why she was tough. Sounds like a
Yes.
freaking story now that I think about it. I mean, like a movie, a movie team. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, your film is very interesting, RJ. You have no
mhm.
idea. I am glad
Oh,
we had this
thanks.
conversation, and I'm glad that you got away with something to think
Hmm.
about, because those are one of my goals, to have the conversation, to know the person, where they're coming from, and how their feature film is, and
Hmm.
learn, and have this genuine connection. And when this genuine connection lights something in their brain, I become so happy, you know?
Hmm. Oh no,
So,
thanks. Yeah, I highly appreciate it. Like the time
yeah,
and.
thank you
Mhm.
so much for your time. I know our conversation will continue somewhere else.
Right.
But I want to thank everyone for listening and watching the Lemon Narrative with Sabreen podcast. And until I see you again with another amazing guest. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Sergey.